Hey there, thanks for stopping by Scott's PC, another Roth IRA update. Again, starting off small, you can see July 2nd, 2025, about $3,400. And this is just a visual representation of what's in that Roth IRA, high yield dividend fund, so to speak. MSTY being the big player at about 80% of the portfolio, and you can see the rest. And so far, since I've opened this Roth up early or late last year, I'm up about 20%. Let's go ahead and have a look. And as you know, I'm slow playing this Roth IRA, at least with these yield max funds. I have 5 positions, 4 yield max funds, and I did open a small position in MSTR. I did want to get the underlier of MSTY going, build on that to see where that goes long term over the next 5 years or so. But with this screenshot, we're looking at the total gain or loss for each position dollar-wise for today. And MSTY had a great day. I think it was up $1.20 or $1.21. And you can see my position was up $150 with 124, almost 125 shares. Hui almost up $5. I wish I had bought more of that on X dividend because it is going to the moon right now. Looks like Robinhood is going to do its things all the way through July. And I think they have an earnings call sometime in the first week of August. So I'll probably be adding to that position. But you can see MSTY, ULTI, and YMAX, they are going X dividend tomorrow, with the payday being on July 7th, which I believe is a Monday. So we'll get paid on Monday for the 3 funds that I have here in this Roth IRA. Let's go ahead and take a look at how much I'm getting paid from each fund. I like to call it payday. And there it is, July 7th, this coming Monday, those 3 funds. ULTI, I only have 17 shares. They're paying about 9.5 cents, so that comes out to $1.66. YMAX, about 20, almost 30 shares, paying a little over 15 cents per share, comes to $4.68. And then my largest holding, of course, is MSTY, about 125 shares. They're paying $1.23, almost $1.24, which translates into about $154. So total here for the week, $160. So not bad. Again, I'm starting over in the Roth with these high yield funds that pay out massive dividends with high yield. So $160 for this first week in July. And even though I opened up this Roth IRA in December of 2024, I really didn't start keeping track of the dividends that I received until April, where I made $88. And then you can see the progression through July. July, I'm anticipating, if I don't even add any more money, about $190 of dividends or distributions for this month that we're in right now. But I intend to increase that. With the Roth IRA, and at my age, 53, I can go all the way up to $8,000. So that's why I'm slow playing it for the rest of this year to get to that cap, I hope. So for the year, for this Roth IRA, about $600 in dividends. And again, eventually these will be tax-free when I need to withdraw them. All right, let's jump back to another screenshot. We're looking at the total gain or loss since I've opened each position. Now, I opened that MSTY position in December of last year, and then the other 4 positions I just opened up sometime this month. So they're very, very new. But again, the total gain or loss for MSTY is $554, which is really nice. I'm really happy about that. And you can see I've owned Hui for like 2 days, and it's already up $8.42. ULTI and YMAX are doing really well. And I bought, I think, 40 or $45 of MSTR, and it jumped today almost $30. We're looking at the same screenshot, but this is just the percentage. You can see in MSTY, I'm up 25%, but you got to remember all the dividends that I've received or distributions I received from MSTY have been reinvested back into MSTY. So for example, I'm going to get about $155 in distributions on the 7th of July. That's going to get me about between 7 and 8 shares. So come this Tuesday, July 7th, I'm going to have about 132, 133 shares, somewhere in that area. And then with this screenshot, this is the current dollar value of each fund. MSTY by far and away 80% of this portfolio at about $2,700. And then a very distant second is YMAX at $413. For me, I really want to pump up this ULTI and the YMAX. I love getting those weekly distributions. And yes, I do want to increase MSTY. But again, I like the underlier of MSTR. I want to keep buying that. I'll probably do that when Misty slash Mister are on red days, just to keep my cost basis down as low as possible. And Hui, they're on a runner right now, so I am going to pick up a few more shares of Hui, 4 or 5 shares. Who knows how much or how much money I'm going to put in. But again, I'm at about $3,400 total if you add this all up. All right, let's take a look at each of these 5 positions. First position is Hui from Yield Max. You can see they had a great day today, up $3.43, finishing just above $70. Again, they're on the runner. I only have 1.6 shares or about $112 total value. But the total gain or loss is up. I'm up 8%. So if this keeps on going to 75, 80 and beyond, I'm going to keep adding to this and hopefully get, like I said, 5 or 6 shares before the next X date. It's not a yield max fund or anything. It's just the underlier Misty. I bought $40 worth of Mister. It's up about 5% just for the day. And I just bought that this morning. So just a quick look at that. And then here we are looking at Ulti again, just 17 shares, only $110. But this 13 cents that they're up today, that's pretty good, finishing at 632. You can see we're going to be ex-dividend tomorrow, so I'm going to get paid that $1.60 or whatever it was. And right now, before ex-dividend, I'm only up about 0.71%. YMAX, my second biggest position, at 29 shares, a total value of $413. You can see a really good day for YMAX, up 22 cents, finishing at $13.90. Again, they're having their distributions at 15 cents a share. And you can see my average cost right there, $13.20. So even with the distributions, I'm still going to be in a green, which is a good thing. And again, all my distributions are being reinvested back into each respective fund. And then last but not least is Misty. That 124 shares, you see my average cost of $17.66. There it is, up $1.21 today. But that's after being down, I think, $1.28 yesterday. But anyway, finished at $22.10. And you can see I'm up 25% or up about $554. So not bad for Misty. And I know the $1.23, I think it's going to be their lowest payout, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep moving forward. I know in August they're going to have 2 payouts, so August is going to be a good month for Misty and for this little Roth IRA I've started. Give me a good kickstart. And here is just some detailed stats for everybody out there, just so you can zoom in, you can pause this and look to where I'm at. But this $3,436, that's the current value of this account now, up 20.57%. In whole, as a total of this whole Roth IRA. Of course, Misty's leading the way, up over 25%. And the dog of the group is Ulti, up about 0.71%. We'll be going ex-dividend tomorrow. So I know Ulti will be in the red, but my YMAX and my Misty, they'll still be in the green. So that's what I'm looking for, even with reinvesting these dividends. And since my last video on June 28th, I think I added about $175 to this Roth. You can now see I went from 3,100 basically to 3,400. The percentage of gain or loss stayed just about the same in the 20% range. But you can see the percentages, they're starting to slightly change here. Misty was approximately 85% just a few days ago. Now it's down to 80% because I picked up some of Mister and I added to my Ulti fund. And I had a pretty good response from the last video, almost 3,000 views. I want to thank everybody who joined in the comments, told me and told the community what they were doing if they were close to retirement or in retirement. Got a lot of good responses. So if you want to read those responses, make sure you just click on the last video and look at the comments and see what some other people are doing. There's a lot of positive people in this community, people who are my age, trying to build a little nest egg or just to generate a little bit of extra income. And I know there's some whales out there that have really pumped up their Roth IRAs or their brokerage accounts to get some serious spending money. Folks, thanks for watching. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video.